Evangelist and I are here to announce our next big move, biggest move we've ever made for Revival Today. Behind me is a building that will look nothing like it looks right now when we finish. We're on just under 5 acres of property that we've just finished purchasing, which is going to give us the ability to have a state-of-the-art studio. And in that studio, something I've wanted to have for a long time, which is a live studio audience. It's going to be a 500-seat building when we finish with it that'll give us the ability to touch the world with our broadcasts. This facility is going to give me the ability to do what I've really missed, which is having you in the audience to minister to personally. Obviously, you can't beat the reach of digital media. We touch the whole world every day. But we have the ability now with this to lay hands on people, pray for people that are sick, a place where you can bring people that are drug addicted, demonized, and really give them the ministry that you can't get on YouTube and Facebook. I can't wait. And then beyond that, we're going to announce the launch of Revival Today Church. We're going to hold Holy Ghost church services every Sunday morning. I'll be there most Sunday mornings. This isn't going to be like some little side project. We're going to give you and your family a place you can go that's a soul-winning church that values the presence of God, where you can get prayed for and ministered to, where there's not a critical race theory lecture or a mask and social distancing 10 minutes of no talking to anybody in the lobby. None of that. We're going to have a place where you're free and where you're free to experience the presence of God.
I'm incredibly excited because I know a lot of you have been asking about different meetings and events that we couldn't have during COVID, and trust me, we tried so hard. So this really frees us up to do everything that we want to do with healing meetings and women's conferences. So I am so looking forward to seeing you and having you be a part of this.
So I want to give you a twofold call to action. Number one, if your church turned in to a liberal nightmare in 2020 and you need a place to go, I would be happy to have you at our church. Number two, if you are a partner or a friend of our ministry, Revival Today, this is the biggest move by far we've ever made. By the time we finish remodeling that building, the acquiring of the property, you're looking at a couple of M's. So if you would stand with us now, I'll say thank you ahead of time. Pray and ask the Holy Ghost what He would have you to do. You've been so generous, and I thank you ahead of time for your extreme generosity. I know I speak on behalf of my wife, everybody here at Revival Today, when I say we love you very much. And now I can say I look forward to seeing you face to face here at the new home of Revival Today.
Hey.
You must be new or something, man. We the best, man.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Check the Market. Today, Friday, July 16th, 2021 at 9:25 a.m. Good morning, Angela, AJ, Stephanie from Lincoln, Nebraska, Christophorus from Indianapolis. Good morning. Stock market samurai. Yes, financial investor. That's right. How's everyone doing this morning? Make sure you share the broadcast. Good morning, Pastor Akeem from Zambia. We got Africa in the house. Awesome. Make sure you share the broadcast with everyone you know. All right, let's get started today. Markets are up a little bit pre-market. See what happens. There was some good news that came out about consumer confidence. Yeah, it looks like we're up on all indexes a little bit this morning. So that's good news after the week we've had. My portfolio is down this week. Morning, Kristen. All right, let's see the first article. Simple Jack Capital. Broke people. I go to Starbucks every day. Millionaires. I brew my own coffee at home. Billionaires. I get all my food for free in federal prison because I committed securities fraud. Slightly accurate. That's what Bernie Madoff says to his friends. Didn't he die? Didn't Bernie Madoff die? Or is he still in prison? Max is taking a couple days off. He did die. Bernie Madoff did die. Man. All right, next. Intel is in talks to buy Global Foundries for about $30 billion. Move comes as Intel is launching a major push to become a chip manufacturer for others. So Intel isn't just buying chips, they now want to become a chip manufacturer for others. They're looking at buying Global Foundries, which is currently building a huge chip manufacturing facility somewhere in the US, I believe it was. All right, let's see the article. Intel is exploring a deal to buy Global Foundries, according to people familiar with the matter, in a move that would turbocharge the semiconductor giant's plans to make more chips for other tech companies and rate as its largest acquisition ever. A deal could value Global Foundries at around $30 billion, the people said. It isn't guaranteed one will come together, and Global Foundries could proceed with a planned initial public offering. Global Foundries is owned by the Mubadala Investment Company, an investment arm of the Abu Dhabi government, based in the U.S. Any talks don't appear to include Global Foundries itself, as a spokeswoman for the company said it isn't in discussions with Intel. Intel's new chief executive, Pat Geisinger, in March said the company would launch a major push to become a chip manufacturer for others, a market dominated by Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC. Continue. Intel, with a market value of around $225 billion, this year pledged more than $20 billion in investments to expand chip-making facilities in the U.S., and Mr. Gelsinger has said more commitments domestically and abroad are in the works. And the markets are open. Oh, man. Don't give Kofi that gun again. All right. We're up on the markets. Dow Jones, NASDAQ, S&P. The Russell is down a little bit. Not too bad after the week we've had. Fisker. I like Fisker. I like Fisker because the company doesn't actually have any of its own manufacturing plants. It's going to be using Magna Magna Steyr out of Austria to manufacture their vehicles. So they're basically just a middleman, and they won't have a ton of problems with manufacturing because they're using existing manufacturing facilities. That's why I like Fisker. I'm invested in Fisker myself, Sean. AJ, that was the opposite for me when I check my portfolio in the mornings when I wake up. I feel like money was being taken away from me this week. All right, let's continue. So Global Foundries has about 7% of the foundry market share by revenue, according to Taiwan-based research firm TrendForce. Some of the largest chip companies, including Qualcomm and Nvidia, rely on third-party producers to make their products, preferring to focus on design and without the hassle of running their own factories. Nvidia last year overtook Intel as America's biggest semiconductor company by value. The ticker for Fisker, FSKR, I believe it is. Let me look it up real quick. They used to have a really nice vehicle, the Fisker Karma. FSR, sorry. It's just FSR. Up about 64% for the year. All right, next. Disney moving thousands of jobs from California to Florida. Business-friendly climate. Shocker. Disney parks, experiences, and products moving about 2,000 jobs to New Orlando area campus. Let's see the article. The Walt Disney Company is the latest business to plan to move some operations out of California in favor of a lower tax state. Disney will move about 2,000 jobs from its California headquarters to a new campus in Florida, according to Josh DeMaro, chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products. Most of the jobs being moved are professional roles in Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products division, other than those tied in Disneyland in California, DeMaro told employees in a letter provided to Fox Business Thursday. The jobs will go to a new campus to be built in Lake Nona, a planned community in Orlando. The move will happen over the next 18 months. Next, continue. DeMaro said the company decided to make the move in part because of Florida's business-friendly climate. This new regional campus gives us the opportunity to consolidate our teams and be more collaborative and impactful both from a creative and operational standpoint. Disney already has more than 60,000 employees in Central Florida, where it owns Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando. There have been rumors of Disney pulling out of California for months, and DeMaro said the move has been in the works since 2019. I don't believe that. Maybe some of them, but not all 2,000. They just don't like what California is doing. They just say it publicly, oh, this is great, but then you can see their actions don't match with their words. Continue. Golden State's coronavirus safety measures shuttered Disneyland for months, and Disney CEO Bob Chapek was critical of how the state handled the pandemic, previously calling the rules arbitrary. Disney isn't the only company making moves out of California. Tech firms like Hewlett-Packard Enterprises and Oracle have also announced plans to leave. California's population dropped by about 135,600 people in 2020. Among them was Tesla CEO Elon Musk, who moved to Texas, where the company was building a factory, and his rocket business, SpaceX, has been testing spacecraft. I think there's already a housing shortage in Orlando. I was reading an article on how it's like within minutes that a house goes on the market, it gets sold. All right, continue. Moderna set to join the S&P 500. Stock rallies 8% after hours. See the article? Moderna Inc., a biotechnology company catapulted to fame after it produced a highly effective COVID-19 vaccine, is set to join the S&P 500 index, a seal of approval that will put the stock in countless index tracking and actively managed funds and retirement accounts. Shares of Moderna rallied 8% in the extended session Thursday after the announcement. The stock gained 149% this year. compared with gains of 16% for the S&P 500 in the same period. Moderna will replace Alexion Pharmaceuticals ALXN at the opening on July 21st. S&P Dow Jones Indices, the index manager said in a statement. We read an article 2 days ago that usually companies that go on the S&P 500 underperform moving forward, and companies that they replace outperform. So Alexion Pharmaceuticals might be a company that we need to keep an eye on, ALXN, because traditionally, and what previous data suggests, is that Alexion will be outperforming since it'll no longer be listed on the S&P 500. Oh, it's actually AstraZeneca is buying Alexion, and the $39 billion deal is expected to close soon. The companies announced the deal in December. Never mind. All right, next. Expect a 10% or worse correction in U.S. stocks by mid-August, says this forecaster with a proven track record. Market breadth hasn't been this poor since October 2018 and the start of a 20% plus decline. See the article? Get ready for the most severe correction since the bull market began in March 2020. To be sure, predictions are a dime a dozen on Wall Street, but this one comes from Hayes Martin, president of investment advisory firm Market Extremes. I was introduced to Martin's work several years ago, and since then I've found this predictions of market turning points to be impressive. For the record, Martin does not have an investment newsletter. My newsletter tracking firm does not audit his investment performance. I devoted 2 columns to Martin's forecasts over the past year, and both proved prescient. In May 2020, I concluded the stock market is stronger than even the most bullish investors believe. In January of this year, I wrote that the market was still firing on all cylinders. In an interview on July 14th, Martin said the U.S. stock market today is most definitely not firing on all cylinders. In fact, he said the market's internal health is now worse than at any time since October 2018. That was the beginning of a 20% decline in the S&P 500 and a 26% decline in the small cap Russell 2000 index. Martin anticipated that decline as well. See my October 4th column. Continue. Martin hastened to add that the market's internal health is not as bad today as it was in 2018. This time around, he's forecasting a decline of 10% or more for the leading U.S. stock indexes. As for timing, he says that the decline could begin at any time, but he anticipates that it'll begin no later than mid-August. Martin bases his sobering forecast on the increasing divergences within the U.S. market, as indicated by fewer and fewer stocks participating in the headline-grabbing strength of the leading indices. One indicator of these divergences is the growing number of stocks hitting new lows. For example, on Wednesday of this week, even as the NASDAQ 100 NDX and the S&P 100 OEX indexes were hitting new highs, many sectors were registering a plurality of new lows. So we'll keep an eye on it, see if he's correct. He says by mid-August, no later, so we'll see. Next. Xiaomi, I believe it's pronounced, overtakes Apple as the world's number 2 phone maker. So it's Samsung, Xiaomi, and then Apple. Apple needs to step up their game. Let's see the article. Xiaomi Corp has become the world's second biggest smartphone maker over the past quarter, following an 83% jump in shipments, according to preliminary estimates by Canalys. This marks the first occasion that Xiaomi, the Chinese maker of everything from rice cookers to gaming monitors, has broken into the top 2 historically dominated by Samsung and Apple. Samsung had a 19% share in the second quarter, Xiaomi had a 17% share, and Apple was at 14%, according to the research firm's data. Shares of Xiaomi rallied as much as 4.1% on Friday, the best performer in Hong Kong's benchmark Hang Seng Index. Huawei had briefly disrupted the rankings until sanctions cut it off from essential chip supplies last year. Its withdrawal from the highly competitive smartphone market pushed other Chinese vendors to spend aggressively on new hardware and upgrades. Xiaomi was particularly active, launching 2 flagship devices within the first 4 months of the year. Its Mi 11 Ultra device features one of the largest camera sensors in a smartphone to date, underscoring the firm's ambition to push into the premium pricing range. All right, next. Gain in U.S. retail sales underscores solid, steady consumer. So that's why the indices are up today. They're up on news of retail sales. Let's see the article. U.S. retail sales rose unexpectedly in June, reflecting fairly broad gains across spending categories and wrapping up a solid quarter for household demand. The value of overall retail purchases advanced 0.6% last month, following a downward revised 1.7% drop in May. Commerce Department figures showed Friday. Excluding autos, sales jumped 1.3% in June. The June increase in overall sales topped all estimates in a Bloomberg survey of economists. The median projection called for a 0.3% decrease in June sales and a 0.4% gain excluding autos. Continue. The value of retail sales has risen sharply this year, supported by government stimulus, elevated savings, and vaccinations. Consumers are beginning to shift more of their purchases towards services, combined with still solid retail demand. Economists forecast household spending expanded at a robust pace in the second quarter. 9 of 13 retail categories posted increases in June, including solid gains at electronics and appliance outlets, clothing stores, and restaurants. Sales at motor vehicle and parts dealers fell 2% in June, likely in response to limited inventory as automakers face a supply chain crunch. Global semiconductor shortage has restrained vehicle production and pushed up prices. So good news, looks like consumers are still spending, and they're spending more, partly because of inflation. Next. Dogecoin holders waiting for Elon to tweet about it. That is true. I own exactly one Dogecoin, and I'm waiting for Elon to tweet about it so he can go to $100,000. All right, next. In a risky world, the road to safety leads to the US dollar. Continue. The need for safety in an increasingly risky world has investors betting that the dollar's blistering rally has further to run. The Bloomberg Dollar Index is holding near the 2021 peak it reached in March. It rallied 2.3% in June, its biggest monthly gain since March 2020, when the pandemic first shook risk assets, outperforming the British pound and euro, as well as traditional haven currencies, the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc. The most striking aspect of the greenback's recent climb is its jump after the FOMC's June meeting, where the dot plot showed that with the U.S. economy heating up, Fed officials expect rate hikes to come far sooner than the market anticipated, potentially as early as 22. Then Chairman Jerome Powell said at his press conference that the central bank started talking about tapering. The dollar index rose 1% from June 16th through 18th alone. The dollar looks to have more room to run to the upside, said Michael Brown, senior market analyst at London's Caxton FX, adding that the market's skittishness could increase the demand. Continue. So there we see the momentum is bouncing back for the US dollar. Taking a longer view, the greenback is up 2.5% since June 1st. That's in stark contrast to the dollar's index average monthly decline of 0.3% since the market crashed last year. In addition, investors increased their bets that the dollar would rise through the rally, potentially signaling that this momentum has legs. Yes, John, I am looking at some inverse stock ETFs, and we're going to go over some here in a little bit as well. The dollar's staying power all comes down to what the Fed says and does from here. Frequent appearances from the central bank's members last month gave it a push, especially as taper talks accelerated. What initially started as a short dollar unwind still has legs to turn into outright long dollar positions ahead of a Fed taper announcement, said Viraj Patel. We'd see this as a buy the rumor. All right, continue. Next. Yellen sees several more months of rapid inflation before easing worries about the housing impact. Let's see the article. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen cautioned Thursday that prices could continue to rise for several more months, though she expects the recent startling inflation run to ease over time. A little bit different from what Jerome Powell is saying here. But Janet Yellen is now a politician and no longer on the Fed. In a CNBC interview, the cabinet official added that she worries about the problems inflation could pose for lower-income families looking to buy homes at a time when real estate values are surging. We'll have several more months of rapid inflation, Yellen told Sarah Eisen during a closing bell interview. So I'm not saying that this is a one-month phenomenon, but I think over the medium term, we'll see inflation decline back toward normal levels. But of course, we have to keep a careful eye on it. The Consumer Price Index, which measures costs for a wide range of items, increased 5.4% in June, the fastest pace in nearly 13 years. Excluding food and energy, the gauge rose 4.5%, the fastest acceleration in nearly 30 years. Prices that goods and services producers receive for their products jumped 7.3%, a record for data going back to 2010. Continue. Continue. Also, housing prices in its nation's largest cities climbed nearly 15% in the most recent measurement. All of that has added up to concern that inflationary pressures could stall the aggressive U.S. economic recovery, with the housing escalation raising fears of a bubble. So I don't think we're seeing the same kinds of danger in this that we saw in the run-up to the financial crisis in 2008. It's a very different phenomenon, but I do worry about affordability and the pressures that higher housing prices will create for families that are first-time home buyers or have less income. Continue. Though consumer surveys point to expectations of higher inflation ahead, Yellen said she's encouraged by market-based measures that suggest prices will cool over the longer term. Despite the inflation fears, the 10-year Treasury yield, considered a benchmark for growth, has tumbled below 1.3% after rising a full percentage point to around 1.75% from October to March. Continue. Other gauges, such as widely used market measure of the yield differences between 5 and 10-year treasuries and inflation index bonds of the same durations, have ticked lower from 13 years highs seen in May. Yellen spoke as Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell faced grilling this week from the House and Senate lawmakers over whether historically easy Fed policy and aggressive congressional spending risk runaway inflation. I don't even understand why they have to talk about that. That's obviously the cause of runaway inflation or inflation. The Fed, which Yellen once chaired, has run its balance sheet to above $8 trillion during the pandemic, while Congress is staring down its second consecutive year of a $3 trillion budget deficit. Incredible. All right, next. Elon Musk admits Tesla's Cybertruck could flop.
No! No!
How many of you have ordered a Cybertruck? Tesla CEO, for real, that's true, Joe. She should understand this a little bit better because she was a Fed chairman. But I don't think she does. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said Thursday in an exchange with fans on Twitter that there's always some chances his company's forthcoming Cybertruck will flop. Nonetheless, Musk plans to keep the Cybertruck production design almost exactly the same as its show car, a giant metal trapezoid. I don't think it's going to be as wide, though. Continue. But he also said he doesn't care about any risks that the Cybertruck could flop because he personally loves its design. He wrote, "To be frank, there's always some chance that the Cybertruck will flop because it's so unlike anything else. I don't care. I love it so much, even if others. Elon Musk basically built this truck for himself, and now he's just sharing it with everybody. He's like, I like dystopian cyber future movies, and I want a truck like that, so I'm going to build one. If you guys want one, you can order it. I agree. It is an ugly truck. It would look pretty cool driving down the street, though. The Cybertruck's 2019 launch event caused a stir to the unusual design of the vehicle, and because Musk asked Tesla design leader Franz von Holzhausen, Baron Franz von Holzhausen, to try to smash the vehicle's window, which he did. Von Holzhausen threw a metal ball at one of the windows, surprising Musk when the glass shattered, though it stayed in place. Despite the launch snafu and the uncertainty about when Tesla can start delivering the Cybertruck, the $100 orders poured forth. Musk boasted the company saw 250,000 within about a week of the Cybertruck's debut. It is like the pyramid tablet from The Office. I don't think it flies, but I would ask Elon Musk. He might put some rocket boosters on that thing, see if it can fly. He sent his roadster into a roadster into space at some point. If they work on it, maybe it could have some military applications. Continue. In September, at Tesla's annual shareholder meeting and the Battery Day event, Musk disclosed that Tesla had received so many Cybertruck orders that the company stopped counting. Whoa. The orders are gigantic, he said. Well over 500,000, I think maybe 600,000. It's a lot. Basically, we stopped counting. That was before competitors showed off their plans for more traditional battery-powered trucks, such as the Ford F-150 Lightning and GMC Hummer EV. Musk also said Thursday that Tesla doesn't plan to put door handles on the Cybertruck, without specifying whether such a vehicle could meet federal motor safety vehicle standards in the US. He also reminded fans that Tesla has decided to add a four-wheel steering system to the sizable Cybertruck, which should enable it to move diagonally in a straight line and get in and out of time. Wow. Incredible. Move diagonally. I would love to see how he's going to do that. I'm pretty sure he is going to put some rocket boosters on that thing then, if it can move diagonally. Continue. China plans to exempt... Do we have a picture of the Cybertruck? Okay. China plans to exempt Hong Kong IPOs from cybersecurity reviews. So here we see exactly what China's plan is. China's plan is to have companies not list on US or European exchanges like they have been doing. They want all their companies to list on Hong Kong and Chinese markets and indexes because they're exempt from cybersecurity reviews, so that China can have an influx of investor cash instead of it going to the US or Europe. Continue. There we go.
Yeah!
It does have door handles, though. Comes with benches. It does look uncomfortable. Yeah, faux marble, look at that. What if it's real marble? Just a huge slab of real marble. There you have it. If you want to order one, go to Tesla.com. And I'm not being paid by Tesla, but I'll send them this video and make sure I do get paid. All right, next. Put a Halo turd on the back. It does look like something from Halo. It does have a grill on the back. tent and everything. It's for all those expeditioners. They would love a truck like that. Get that little badge, the expedition badge, to put on the back of it. All right, continue. Continue. What's next in the tech world? Getting the inside scoop on the latest China plans to exempt companies going public in Hong Kong from first seeking the approval of the country's cybersecurity regulator, removing one hurdle for businesses that list in the Asian financial hub instead of the US, according to people familiar with the matter. So this has nothing to do with cybersecurity and everything to do with the fact that China doesn't want its companies to be listed on US exchanges. It wants its companies to be listed on its own exchanges so that the money can flow into China. Continue. The CSRC and CAC didn't immediately respond. All right, next article. So this is the different ways you would look if you were on certain things. So there's cocaine, marijuana, beer, family, and then crypto. That's what we all look like looking at our crypto wallets these days. Next. Former U.S. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin says his view on Bitcoin has evolved. Continue. Former Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin talked about Bitcoin, cybersecurity, and the U.S. economy in an interview with CNBC Wednesday. He was asked whether his viewpoint on Bitcoin has evolved since the last time he was interviewed by the media outlet when he was still the Treasury Secretary. At that time, Mnuchin was dismissive of the cryptocurrency, stating it had no inherent value. Since then, a growing number of major companies and prominent traders have gotten into Bitcoin. Major investment banks such as Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Citigroup have either started offering or in the process of offering crypto products or services to their clients. Continue. Regarding whether his viewpoint on Bitcoin has evolved, Mnuchin said, "I think my view has evolved a little bit, but it's pretty consistent. If people want to buy Bitcoin as a substitute, no different than buying gold or some other asset, it's fine. I don't personally want to have it in my portfolio, but if people want to, that's perfectly fine." He's going to miss out on those gains. It's going to go straight to the moon. And he's going to be penning articles like the guy from Dogecoin did yesterday about how he's so upset and it's a right-wing conspiracy and all these things. The former Treasury Secretary added that the underlying technology of blockchain is pretty incredible, noting that there are many applications utilizing it. As for Bitcoin and other crypto assets, Mnuchin emphasized that it is important for them to be regulatory compliant, including complying with the Banking Secrecy Act. Boo. Continue. Noting that under the Trump administration, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency approved banks to offer cryptocurrency custodian services. Last year, he explained, the reason we did that was because we wanted to make sure that this was becoming in the regulated world, and it should be fully BSA compliant. What do you think about Mnuchin's comments on Bitcoin? Let us know in the comment section below. Next. PayPal raises weekly cryptocurrency purchase limit to $100,000 and removes the annual limit. Continue. Payments giant PayPal has increased its weekly purchase limit for cryptocurrencies and has removed the annual limit altogether. The company said these changes will enable our customers to have more choice and flexibility in purchasing cryptocurrency on our platform. PayPal announced Thursday that it has increased purchase limits for cryptocurrencies. The company explained that since the U.S. launch of PayPal Crypto in October 2020, it has been actively engaging with customers to better understand their needs, with the aim to provide a trusted and secure platform to buy, hold, sell, and check out with cryptocurrency. The payments giant detailed, as part of our efforts to meet the ever-changing needs of our customers, we are pleased to announce that we have recently raised the purchase limits of cryptocurrency for eligible PayPal customers in the US to $100,000 per week with no annual purchase limit. Continue. This is a five-fold increase from the previous weekly limit of $20,000 and a substantial increase from the annual purchase limit of $50,000. That makes... You have a weekly limit of $20,000 and an annual limit of $50,000. So you can only buy for 2.5 weeks. That made no sense. The minimum crypto purchase is still $1, and the platform currently supports Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, not Dogecoin, for all my Dogecoiners out there. These changes will enable our customers to have more choice and flexibility in purchasing cryptocurrency on our platform. Following the launch of PayPal Crypto, the company rolled out a similar crypto service on Venmo. For 70 million users to trade cryptocurrencies in March, PayPal launched Checkout with Crypto to allow cryptocurrency payments at millions of stores. They don't want to miss out on those gains. But Stephen Mnuchin does. Continue. That's it. Blue Origin says first paying customer on New Shepard will be youngest person in space. So we found out who's going to be going to space with Jeff Bezos and the astronaut lady.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Bezos. Blue Origin. Announced Thursday that an 18-year-old would be the first paying customers to fly on board its New Shepard suborbital rocket and the youngest person
Get some help.
to ever go to space. In a tweet, the spaceflight company congratulated Oliver Damon and welcomed him to the crew. Continue. Welcome to the crew, Oliver. We're grateful to have you as our first customer. Where did he get the $18 million from? To mark the beginning of commercial operations. In an accompanying release, the company explained that Damon would join Bezos, his brother Mark Bezos, and Mercury 13 aerospace pioneer Wally Funk. At 82 years old, Funk will become the oldest person in space since the 77-year-old astronaut. Man, he loves to break records. He just wants to be in that Guinness Book of World Records. Soviet cosmonaut German Titov currently holds the record for the youngest person to fly in space. He was 25 when he flew on the Soviet Union's Vostok 2 mission. Damon replaces the anonymous winner of a live auction who bid 28 million, not 15. Concluding a month-long process. Blue Origin did not disclose the cost of Damon's ticket and explained that the auction winner had chosen to fly on a future New Shepard mission due to scheduling conflicts. So you pay $28 million for a ticket and then you have scheduling conflicts. Oh man. At least he got one of those, not refunds, what are they? A credit. I wonder if there's a $200 change fee with Blue Origin to change your ticket too. They put it on a gift card. Continue. Continue. Yeah. Oh man, he looks so much like Dr. Evil. The auction gift has enabled Blue Origin's Club for the Future to gift $1 million to 19 space-related non-profit organizations. They have space-related non-profit organizations? Like astronomer clubs and I guess like space summer camps or something like that. I don't know what other non-profit they would have for space. We thank the auction winner for their generous support of Club for the Future and are honored to welcome Oliver to fly with us on the New Shepard. Blue Origin CEO Bob Smith said in the release, "This marks the beginning of commercial operations for New Shepard, and Oliver represents a new generation of people who will help us build a road to... They're building a road to space. My goodness." Blue Origin said that a ticket for the 10-minute July 20th trip would fulfill a lifelong dream for Damon, who graduated from high school and took a gap year to obtain his private pilot's license before going on to study physics and innovation management at the Netherlands University of Utrecht. Is he from the US? On Monday, the Federal Aviation Administration approved a Blue Origin license to carry humans into space on New Shepard. When the 4 passengers lift off from the West Texas launch site, 1 facility, Bezos will become the second person to ride his own rocket into space. After Virgin Galactic owner, what's his name? Richard Branson beat him to it. He probably still has nightmares about that. Continue. That's it? One more article. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says you wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital US currency. And I say you're wrong, with all due respect. You do still need cryptocurrencies. Continue. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell believes that there's no need for cryptocurrencies if there's a digital dollar. I don't understand what his thinking there is. I think that's one of the stronger arguments in its favor. The Fed chair also insists that the US is not in danger of losing its reserve currency status. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell talked about cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, and a digital dollar during a congressional hearing before the US House of Representatives Financial Services Committee Wednesday. During the hearing, Representative Stephen Lynch from Massachusetts asked if a swift action on the Fed's digital currency would calm the markets and whether a digital dollar would be a more viable alternative than having thousands of cryptocurrencies or stablecoins emerge in the payment system. Let's just concentrate on like the top 5. Continue. I think that may be the case. I think that's one of the arguments that are offered in favor of digital currency. In particular, you wouldn't need stablecoins, you wouldn't need cryptocurrencies if you had a digital US currency. I think that's one of the stronger arguments in its favor. Responding to a different question, Powell noted that stablecoins are a lot like money market funds or bank deposits, but without the regulation. He opined we have a tradition in this country where the public's money is held in what is supposed to be a very safe asset. We have a pretty strong regulatory framework around bank deposits, for example, or money market funds that exist really for stablecoins. Representative Lynch also raised concerns about the slowness of digital dollar development, citing that many central banks worldwide are progressing faster than the US in this area. That's because we have Bitcoin. We don't need a digital US dollar. We have an actual US dollar. There's tons of it laying on this table right now. Continue. I think it's the beginning of an accelerating decision process. We have a lot of work left to do on the technical side and on the policy side, but a critical part of it is just public consultation. I'm really concerned about getting this right. I think it's way more important to get it right than it is to get it fast. The Fed chairman also addressed Lynch's concern about the US losing its reserve status. On reserve currency, the US is the reserve currency. Powell insisted. There really isn't a good competitor out there. All the things you'd need to be a reserve currency, the United States has it. We're not in danger of losing it, certainly not to China. I believe that is true. And Joe Green says strong regulation equals tracking. That is correct. It's because they can't track Bitcoin or not well enough. They're just upset because somebody's beating them at their game. Bitcoin to the moon. And let's go into stocks research today. Low VSCGX. Vanguard Life Strategy Conservative Growth Fund, a mutual fund that seeks current income and low to moderate capital appreciation. It has around 40% allocation to equities and 60% allocation to bonds. So it's like the one we had yesterday a little bit, just a different kind. It has 1.57% distribution yield, 0.12% expense ratio, so it's even cheaper than the one yesterday. The fund has a 4-star Morningstar rating and has had an average yield of 7.13% since its inception in 1994. Medium AGNC Investment Corp. Company invests in mortgage-backed securities on a leveraged basis, invests in collateralized mortgage obligations for which the principal and interest is guaranteed by government-sponsored enterprise such as Fannie Mae. It also invests in commercial mortgage-backed securities. Fairly risky investment. but it currently offers an 8.91% dividend yield. It has come off its 52-week high at over $18 to around $16, and currently has a buy rating. I would buy it just for the dividend yield. If I bought today, I would try to sell around $20 if it goes that high. If not, just harvest the dividends. Had a great earnings beat for quarter one this year and will announce quarter two, July 26th. Earnings growth hasn't been great, but it's considered a value stock in its industry at 2.92 times book value versus almost 7.64 for the industry as a whole. Risks would include housing bubble, increase in interest rates, and high risk is TZA. TZA. Direction Daily Small Cap Bear 3X shares. It's an inverse ETF that tracks the Russell 2000 index. So if the Russell 2000 drops, this ETF goes up 3x. It's another leveraged inverse ETF like the one we talked about yesterday that will go up should there be a market correction, as more and more analysts predict will happen within the next couple of months. And this is extremely risky. It's not just risky, it's extremely risky. So make sure you research it, but it might be a good hedge for your portfolio in case there is a market correction within the next couple of months. The ticker for medium is AGNC. And high is TZA. All right, and now it's time for the tip of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Tip of the day is track your net worth. Make a list of the debts and assets you own and track your net worth. It'll make you more serious about paying down debts and more aggressive about seeing growth in your assets, because the majority of Americans have a negative net worth. And so it'll make you more serious looking at it. It'll give you the push you need to keep growing your net worth. So I think that's it's a good trick. It's one that I use personally. I track my net worth every single month, and I do so for the net worth of the ministry as well. Every single day I update that the market's open. So that was the tip of the day. Track your net worth. It's very easy. Just open an Excel spreadsheet, or what's it called on Apple? Numbers. Open up your Numbers app and put in your assets and your liabilities and track your net worth. The more you know. All right. If you enjoyed today's show, if you enjoyed Check the Market and everything that we do here at Revival Today, feel free to donate. Hashtag donate on Facebook or revivaltoday.com/give, or you can text RT to 50155. We're also on Cash App, $RT Give, Venmo at RT Give, revivaltoday.com/PayPal. And for your donation today, we're going to send you the Check the Market mug. We had a bunch of them go out yesterday, but we still have some left, so grab them before they're gone. These are your Check the Market mugs with the large handle, where you can stand on your balcony overlooking your empire, and you can fit your full hand into the handle. It's nice and big. I love that about that mug. Just survey your empire as you sip your coffee out of the Check the Market mug. You can also give by check. P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, Pennsylvania 15329. And don't forget to claim your mug at revivaltoday.com/offer. That way we can get it to you. Or you can also call the office at 412-446-2332. And if you're anywhere near Oklahoma City, make sure that you make it to the meetings. They start tonight at 7 p.m. in Oklahoma City with Evangelist Jonathan Shuttlesworth. Saturday at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., and then Sunday at 10:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Bryant Avenue, 6800 North Bryant Avenue in Oklahoma City. That is this weekend, and next weekend, we're going to be in Hobbs, New Mexico at Choose Life Church, 25th through the 30th of July. And that'll be Sunday, 9:30 and 6:30 p.m., and then Monday through Friday of next week, of the week after next, at 7 p.m. And that's it for today, for Check the Market. If anybody has any questions. If not, then I hope you guys have a great weekend, the best weekend you've ever had. And we'll just keep, well, looks like the market went down, but it can still open up. It can still close up in the green, and we'll all have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week on Monday. Have a good weekend. See ya.